Learn how to add a new property to an existing object using object-defined property method. When you are working with object.defined property method, you can add new properties to an object after it has been created using this method. And that is what we are going to be looking at together in this example. So I have a couple of steps here that we need to follow in order to make the example. Number one says create objects person. So I'll go ahead and create a person object. Create person object. And inside it, I will go add some things like first name, call it John, last name, I'll call it Joe. Then I will add language to this and put English inside. So now I've created person's object. Step 2 says, now we need a way to add a property, which is why it says use objects dot divide property in order to add a new property. So how do we do that? Well, we call the method object dot define property. Then it will take in some data or parameters. Number one is the object name. So you pass in the object name. Now, what do we want to add? We want to add a new property here. So you pass it in like this in form of a string. And then the value for it, because we want it to be an object, so we use curly braces, and the value is going to be 2008. So now with what we have now, we are good to go to display results and the property. Display the new property. So how do we display this new property now? If you look at my screen, well, what are you thinking? How do we access the year property that you just added? Well, it is very simple. We still go back to the use of the dot notation in order to access the property of the object. So the dot notation, and then we pass in here. And now you can see 2008, which means this property has been added to what we have in our object. So the object defined property adds a new property here to the person object and display it. Now, the way this works is that when this object is created, this is used to add year. So once we added the year, this property now becomes the part of this object. And that value, which is 2008 here, is stored as 2008, and then by accessing it, we were able to display it on the page. Note that objects are flexible and you can add new properties anytime, especially with things like this divine property that gives control addition. So after that, we can just access it in a normal object property using the dot notation, because objects are not fixed and you can extend them anytime by adding new properties to them. Lastly, JavaScript objects are dynamic and they can be modified even after creation, and that is the same thing that we just did now. After the creation of the objects, we're able to modify by adding an element or a property to it. Object.define method property is a control way to extend objects without directly modifying their structure. We're able to add another object without modifying the structure of the original objects.